So what we were seeing was that, in the weeks and days since the killing of George Floyd, a lot of companies throughout a variety of industries have spoken up and have put out public declarations against racism, speaking for equality. But what we had heard specifically from employees at Adidas was that these public declarations really did not align with their experiences internally. And that included, really intense instances of discrimination. One called the N-word, another packet of design material that came down from the headquarters in Germany that included an image with the Confederate battle flag. But employees I spoke with also said, the little acts of discrimination, the fact that they were the only Black employee on a team, or the fact that, a lot of employees felt like because the company really appealed to people of color and Black people, and the products were really bought by those consumers, that they were being tapped for their creativity, for their expertise as people of color, but were not duly being recognized for those efforts and given an opportunity to advance internally in the company.
Brenda, where do you stand on this? Are you fearful that companies won't see their actions match their recent rhetoric, or are you encouraged that things are changing for the better?
So we just need to admit that this is a wake-up call, and now is the time that we all of us, all companies, all leaders, every person, step back, take a look at themselves in order to address their part in this current state. None of us has far to look for feedback that's meaningful that we can take to improve. We're in a moment to listen to the feedback of the world, not just to shareholders, but also to customers and employees and partners and the community at large.
So, Brenda, as a result maybe of his story, of Jacob's story, and just in general criticism, Adidas did respond. It did take some concrete action, investing $20 million in Black communities, investing in university scholarships for Black employees, and committing to hire 30 new hires in the U.S. filled with Black and Latino folks. Is this the kind of action you want to see? Can you give us some specific examples and solutions of what these companies should be doing, since they haven't been doing it already?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that these are great examples of the types of actions that companies should take. But there are lots of different actions they should take. So first of all, we know that companies have an obligation and they must hold themselves accountable to drive change that supports the communities in which they thrive and that help them thrive. And so right now, companies have this incredible time-sensitive opportunity to respond to the calls of anti-racism, community safety, and economic justice. And I believe that the examples that you gave are just a few of the ways that organizations can do that. But I can share 5 things that I think can help companies get started right now. First of all, acknowledge past missteps. We've all been a part of what's gone on in the past. It doesn't make any sense to pretend like we haven't. So go ahead and acknowledge those missteps. At AnitaB.org, we did just that last week. Part of our mission is to make sure that women technologists are lifted up and are given that airtime and that light for their contributions. And we had to admit that in the past, we had disappointed and let down the Black community by not doing the best job for them. Number 2, ask tough questions. Be willing to ask those questions and to listen. It's time for leaders to show the humility that says, yes, I'm willing to come to the table. I'm willing to ask those questions. And I'm then going to spend 5 times as much time listening. Number 3, be willing to weather the pushback. I think the pushback is something that we all deal with. And having that backbone and being willing to stand up and listen to that pushback, respond to it, is part of that conversation that's going to help us move towards healing. Number 4, set metrics. When you make a decision to do something, set up those metrics so that you can, on the regular, find out how well you're doing with those strategies and be willing to pivot and make sure that you continue towards the expected outcomes that you have. And number 5, an easy way to address economic inequality, which is a big piece of this equation, is to make sure that equal pay is a reality. Right now, companies can take a step to take a look at what they're paying across the board. And if they find inequity, fix it.
Brenda and Jacob, thank you both very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.